what's it like that the main event on this show is obviously a matchroom fighter against a former MMA superstar, but the only world title fights on the bill are with your fighters?
Look, it's an intriguing fight with AJ, obviously because of what Ngannou did in his last fight against Tyson, where he came to the party and, having been written off by everybody as not, basically, this is a total mismatch, etc., proved that he was certainly a much better boxer than people give him credit for. And what I was surprised at is that people didn't take into consideration his competitive and his heart going into the fight, and he showed how competitive he is. So AJ's got a tough fight, and it's going to be an intriguing fight in as much that, is AJ going to stand toe to toe with him? And is it going to be a shootout, or is he going to get behind his jab and move and fight maybe like he did again in the second fight against Ruiz? Who knows what he's going to bring to the party? He's got a new trainer now in Ben Davison. Ben's no slouch. He'll be looking to charge his man out and charge his man up. And sometimes when fighters go to new trainers or different trainers, they get a little bit of motivations. We will see. But what for me, and I've said it a few times now, what for me I'm interested in is what Ngannou has learned from his first pro fight and how he's going to adapt now and what he's going to do. He's in a position where he knows what AJ is all about. He's seen him fight. He's seen lots and lots of his fights, seen his strengths and his weaknesses. And where Tyson didn't have it, AJ has the good fortune of seeing Ngannou in action, in a boxing ring. So we know what basically what he's like. And as I say, we know he's a competitor. So I think it's going to be a really good fight. I don't think they go to distance. I think they're big guys. I think they're punchers. And I think whoever lands will take the other guy out, because they're both big punchers.
I'm going to ask you in a minute who that guy is. But before we do that, how frustrating is it that you were criticised in some quarters when Tyson fought Ngannou because of his lack of experience, and people called it a mismatch and so on? Not as many people saying that about him against AJ now because of his performance.
I've got to be honest. The couple of the Sunday newspapers I see, there wasn't even reported in the fight. There was no preview of it, and one just give a paragraph, which I thought was ridiculous. It's like, I think in some ways it's disrespectful to Ngannou, because he is a competitor. He's not a YouTuber. He's not a guy who's an influencer or whatever they call him and all that crap. He's a fighter. He is a warrior. That's what he's done. Look at his backstory. He's been a warrior since he's been born, striving to succeed, and that tells you a lot about him. And he's in with a guy who can't afford to lose in AJ. AJ gets beat by this fella. I mean, where does AJ go? So both of them, it's on the line for both these fellas. Both of them on the line. It's this very important fight for both of them, and that pressure itself is enough. That is enough to get the best out of them. It's not just let's just knock. This is like a warming up fight, knock someone over, on to the next one. This ain't that. This is a fight. These guys have pride. These guys will come and fight each other and give everything they've got. Because if they don't give everything they've got, then it's going to be the end for one of them. It'd be the end. I think it'd be the end, excuse me, of their career at the top echelon.
And you just said there, where does AJ go if he loses to Ngannou? Let me flip that round to you. Where does he go? Does he retire if he loses to Ngannou?
Well, again, it depends how you lose a fight. Look, he's no slouch. Ngannou, based upon the performance he had with Tyson, you give him a shot against anybody in the top 10, and there's a few in there I fancy him to beat, to be quite honest. So, as I say, he's no slouch. It's it's how you lose the fight. But going into the fight, it all points to being a cracker.
So if AJ gets chinned, and you did say you don't see the fight going the distance, whoever wins, if AJ gets knocked out, what does he do then? Can he rebuild? Again,
it depends how he loses. If he's in a very, very close fight, he gets clipped. It's not the end of the world. We've seen that happen with guys, and guys come back from that. That'd be the interesting scenario. the general consensus may be that he will be, but that's not how it works out. That's not how it goes.
Yeah. So if AJ can still rebuild regardless of what happens, let's do brass tacks. Who do you fancy in the fight? Gun to your head, metaphorically speaking.
I've got to be honest, I can see a case for both of them. I really can. And it's not sitting on the fence. The fact of the matter is, you look at them, AJ is a boxer, and this is his game. Same as Tyson was a boxer. As I've said, this fella's a dangerous sod, and he can box a bit, and he can punch. And AJ has been caught, he's been stopped in fights. So if he gets caught, can he take the power? Can he recover? Has he got the wherewithal to outbox this guy? Is he smart enough to outbox this guy? I don't know. We're going to find out on Friday night.
But if you had to put your last pound on it,
I swear to you, I haven't made my mind up yet. I want to see both of them weigh in. I want to, look at them and see them both weigh in, and then I'll make my decision. At this stage, you've got to say you would fancy AJ to be the favourite because of all the things I've just said. But this fella's motivated.
So we've got Fury Usyk May the 18th. How likely is it that the winners of those two fights face each other? Maybe not next, but at some point.
I think down the road it will happen. I mean, look, if Ngannou wins, it's a natural fight rematch. Tyson comes through. It's a natural rematch anyway if he wins. So whatever the result is, if AJ comes through and Tyson wins, it's a great fight that everybody'd like to see. But there are rematch clauses around, and they're going to have to be dealt with. That was how the fights were made, and that was the terms of the deals. But these fights will be happening. But there's a lot of, contrary to what everybody says, there's a lot of big fights been made over the last year. Where we've had unified champions like Crawford, unified champion, Inoue. Lots of them, lots of guys out there doing that. So there's others I've not mentioned. Good, it's a really good fight. It's been a great year for boxing, a great year, and it started off this year in great style. Some fantastic fights coming up.
How would you feel if Anthony Joshua goes through Francis Ngannou, does a significantly better performance than Fury did? Are you happy because it sells Fury against Joshua, or are you disappointed because it paints Fury in a lesser light?
Not at all. I don't think about it. I just think about if he comes through, then obviously that would make that fight even more of a hot ticket. And when it happens, I mean, there's going to be a lot more at stake. A lot of people fancy Tyson, including myself, big time to win that fight. That may change people's opinions and make it a bigger and better fight. And it should be a bigger and better fight if that happens.